Hi everyone, this is Bria from Mythological Empath, and today we are going to be doing a theory video on Keeper of the Lost Cities, Book 9, STELLARLUNE. Let's get started. So if you didn't know what Keeper of the Lost Cities series is, it's actually right here. Well, I should start here and then go right there. So far, with the new one coming out, there's going to be 9 books in the series. Well, 9.5. There's the book 8.5 right there, which there was a lot of information in, and I'm going to actually be referencing this book in this video. So in this video, there's definitely obviously going to be spoilers for anyone that hasn't read the series. So if you don't like spoilers, flee now and come back when you finish the series. But I'm super excited to do this video because Keeper of the Lost Cities series, obviously being right here on my shelf, is one of my favorite series. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to break everything down character to character, and we're going to be doing theories on each of the characters. And I'm going to be using my I bought this for the extra chapter for Lynn, but ended up getting a lot of water damage, so I ended up using it to write all of my notes for each of the characters. So I went through this whole book and found everyone's names, and I even did research on each of what their names mean, because I figured, because we found out, I don't think it was an official quote by Shannon, but a lot of fans have figured out that a lot of the names that Shannon picks have meanings for their characters. So I actually went through here and looked up everyone's name and like what the meaning of their name is, to see if any which ones were actually going to be important, because I did notice that some of the names are just like mean light, which in Elfland sparkles light, you know. So I think the ones that mean like light or something just average like that are probably characters that are not going to be that important. But I've actually found some side characters that have some pretty interesting names, and I've even come up with theories on people that I really didn't think were going to be very important. So I'm super excited about this. Let's start with Sophie Foster. So I'm going to be reading from my trusty little book here, and Sophie's first name means wisdom, pinnacle of intel, knowledge, and experience. So, and that totally describes, especially Sophie at the beginning of the series, with her having all of those stuff, all of the information stored in her brain. And then Elizabeth means an oath to someone, which, I mean, she's done an oath to like the Black Swan, she's done an oath to the council, so I guess that could definitely make sense for her character. And then Foster, the one who keeps the forest, so takes care of the forest, which could, you know, reference the fact that the elven world is very like natural, and like Sophie can hear nature songs and stuff like that. But honestly, I think Foster was picked because she's a foster, like sort of a foster child, and I think she was more kind of referencing that in her last name. Sophie is probably going to be getting another ability. It was hinted at in I believe Legacy, that it might be an elemental ability. So in Legacy, I believe it was in the scene where she told her friends that she was trying to find her biological parents, and I believe it was that scene. I don't remember exactly, but I remember it was Dex. Dex told her that he was surprised that the Black Swan didn't give her any elemental abilities, and that got me thinking that I have a feeling, especially since they've hinted at it so much, that she's probably gonna get at least one more ability. She might not. I guess it all depends on Shannon, what if like an ability will make things more convenient or work for the team more. But I believe if it is going to be an ability, it'll be an elemental ability. It would be nice if it was it would be really nice if it was a an ability that no one has had so far. Like, we've already had gusters, pyrokinetics, hydrokinetics. Almost think it would be really cool, especially since her eyes are brown, if she had some kind of earth-based ability. I don't know exactly what realm of earth, like if it would be kind of like Avatar Last Airbender earth, or if it would be more like nature-based earth. Either way, I think that would be a really cool ability for her to have, and it would almost go with what Vespera said in Nightfall, where she said that if the Moonlark truly unleashed herself, she'd be able to tear this place apart brick by brick. And, you know, at first I was thinking it was referencing, you know, her skills. Like, if she unleashed her crazy amazing skills, she would be able to use her super strength or super speed to just tear the place apart. But it could be referencing that, because I have a feeling a little bit that the Never Seen kind of have the highlights of Project Moonlark. Like, I wonder even if the Never Seen have figured out more than Sophie has about Project Moonlark, which would be really, really interesting, and how they kind of have thwarted her so far. Obviously Forkle wouldn't know because he tried to hide her enhancing, but that doesn't mean there's someone that's taking information from the Black Swan or stealing information. So who knows? And then for my next note, okay, I believe Sophie's biological father is going to be TIERGAN, because he's very, very suspicious. And I came up with this theory by myself at first, but I've actually watched a podcast that has the exact same theory, and they break it down and explain it in there. So I don't want to tell like copy them and say all the things they've said. All I'm gonna say is he's super sus. Reread the series, or even reread the scenes with TIERGAN in it, and it all kind of shows for her. And I'll actually be linking that podcast in the description. I follow a lot of different podcasts and YouTube channels on here, and they're all amazing. Go check them out. I believe, yeah, so that theory came from the Forbidden Cities podcast. But like I said, I don't want to steal their ideas, so I'm just going to link that down below. And if you want to watch their video, it's called, I believe it is their parent theory videos. They got 2 parts to it, so go check that out. And then, oh, I put this on Sophie's, but I probably should have put it on Grady's. But I said I think Grady is going to be the next one taken. The reason I believe this, and I put it on Sophie's, is because he's her adoptive father. But the reason I believe this is because I believe it was in Nightfall as well that Lady Gisela and Vespera both said that Grady is the only one out of their team that they believe has what it takes to be ruthless. And Lady Gisela said that she was already coming up with a plan to recruit Grady. And I have a feeling, obviously, that Grady's probably not going to go to the dark side, but they'll probably do the same thing they did with Tam, and either do something to Adeline or Sophie, especially with the whole thing that went down with Keith and Grady and the 8.5 book, Unlocked, with the imparter, Grady giving Keith the imparter. I almost wonder that would be a really interesting thing, is if Grady knew he was going to be taken, and then he contacted Keith and was like, all right, things are going to get bad. I'm being taken by the Never Seen. Or maybe they'll do a thing where they take Sophie and they say you gotta exchange Grady for her, or something about that realm, because like that imparter is coming back into play, and the fact that Gisela hinted at that she already was coming up with a plan to get Grady is definitely going to be coming into play. Alright, the next one is Fitzpacker. I'm going in order. It's not my favorite character list, it's just I'm going in order of what this book is. Alright, so Fitz's name means, what is it? Fitz, son of the king, which I have a feeling that kind of references Alden, because like Alden was kind of almost, well, the whole Vacker lineage is kind of like royalty, so I'm assuming that's what it's referencing. But it could also be referencing, I've heard this theory going around from a bunch of different people, that Fitz might eventually become a counselor, which would definitely make sense for his character, since you know, rank and prestige, and that's all really important to Fitz. So I could see him, I have a feeling that either in book 9 or book 10, Fitz is going, probably, I would say probably book 10, Fitz is going to be going to the elite levels, which would be really cool for his character, because obviously that's really important to him, and it's definitely going in line with his character. It just would probably, because I know in the elite towers you have to be secluded, you're secluded away in the elite towers for so that you could focus or something like that. You're like locked in there so you could focus. So who knows, I could be referencing either one of those. Okay, so then Avery, which is his middle name, ruler of elves, wisdom, which is hilarious. So apparently it's his wisdom because he's an elf, and the fact that it just says ruler of elves, which could also be another reference to him becoming a counselor. And then Vacker means beauty, like beauty. I mean, the Vackers, everyone knows that they're perfect and beautiful, and so that would make sense. All right, so my theory for Fitz, besides the counselor one, is that I feel like Fitz is going to be having a redemption arc. I believe it's, you know, I feel like he's gonna have a redemption arc with or without Alvar. I feel like since he's been so psychotic about Alvar, I have a feeling that if he did have a redemption arc, Alvar would have to be involved somehow. Like, he would have to either forgive him or something, something along those lines. Like, because I don't know, I just feel like that would have a deeper meaning, at least to me, if he like forgave Alvar or like did something that had to do with Alvar. Or I've heard this one too going around, that Fitz, because they've referenced it before, where I believe, what was it in? Flashback. It was in Flashback. With the whole Troll Hive thing, where they, it wasn't near the, I don't think they were at the Troll Hive yet, but they were saying, because he was putting a knife to Alvar's throat, that he said, the Neverseen said they were wondering if they chose the wrong Vacker. They chose Alvar instead of Fitz. Because, like, obviously, they were saying that they think that Fitz would have been more ruthless than Alvar, which he kind of has been, and not really, because Alvar did kidnap Sophie and just like allow her to be tortured. So I don't know, that they were saying that they might have chose the wrong Vacker, so that makes me almost feel like it's a hint that Fitz may actually snap and join the Neverseen. Something really big would actually have to happen for that level of change to happen. But I'm here for it, because I have a feeling, or not even a feeling, I have a wish that at least one of Sophie's teammates or friends would switch to the Neverseen. Because I mean, they've got Glimmer, which is kind of part of the Neverseen, that I'm hoping will switch to, or we're thinking we'll switch to the good side. I mean, she kind of already got kicked out of the Neverseen. It's either join them or die, because I feel like Gisela or someone from the Neverseen is gonna kill, or is gonna try to kill Glimmer. But yeah, so I want one of these friends to join the Neverseen, but that Fitz is my biggest, this has been the biggest hint in the series, but they could surprise us, and it could be literally anyone. So all right, next is Biana. So her, where did I put her name? Okay, her name means white and fair-skinned. So I think honestly her whole name just points at her beauty and just like what what people's interpretations of like elves outer appearance would be. I mean, I guess you can even say her inner, like how beautiful of a person she is in the inside too, but nothing really points to something, because so then her middle name is Amber, which is a jewel and that's fossilized resin, so kind of like an amber stone, I'm assuming what they're referencing, you know. So I mean, I guess you can you can say she's tough as amber, like it's kind of like a fossilized sap. Yeah, so I mean, they could say that, or I think honestly they're just pointing to that she's just beautiful. And then, so my theory for Biana is I have a feeling that Sophie is going to become the leader of the Black Swan eventually. So I have a feeling Biana will become the new leader of Team Valiant. Yeah, because I remember it was hinted at in Legacy. Yeah, in Legacy, where like Sophie said that Biana would have what is it, not been a better leader. What'd she say exactly? I remember she said, oh, Biana was better at multitasking than her. So that's what I have a feeling. So there's gonna be, I feel like in the future there's going to be the council, there's going to be Team Valiant, or the name might change, or title or whatever, and then there'll be the Black Swan. And I believe Biana's group, which would be Team Valiant, will be kind of the go-between between the rebel group, which will be the Black Swan, which will pretty much, they're gonna keep everyone in check, and then and keep whatever beliefs they have, and then the council will have their beliefs, and then Team Valiant will kind of go back and forth and be like, okay, this is what council thinks, this is what the Black Swan thinks, let's meet somewhere in the middle, you know. So I have a feeling that that's what's gonna end up happening, because I feel like I don't see Biana as a counselor, but I do see her a leader, as a leader type, and I feel like she would do really well as the leader of Team Valiant. And I don't see Sophie staying Team Valiant, because she's definitely a rebel, and and like her and Keith, I feel like, and they won't allow Keith in Team Valiant, so I have a feeling that she's gonna end up her Keith, maybe Dex. Oh well, no, Dex probably would stay good in Team Valiant. Maybe Lynn and Tam. Yeah, I think Lynn and Tam, like those characters, will all become the new leaders of the new collective. I feel like that would be really cool, you know. So there'll be like the rebels, then the council, or whatever, the leaders, and then the go-betweens. So that'd be a really cool system. I don't know, I think that would be really cool. And then I have a feeling too that whether it's in revealed in book 9 or book 10, I feel like there's going to be more about the Vacker legacy, and I have a feeling that Biana is going to try to fix all the bad things that the Vackers have done in the past. I know she can't do all of it on her own, but I have a feeling that she's probably going to try to get it exposed and try to get it fixed, because I think that's something that's really important for her and important for her character. All right, next character. All right, Dexter Disney. Okay, his name means right-handed, fortunate, one who dyes clothes. Don't know about that one, but then it says skillful, proper, and favorable. So yeah, I mean, I think that those all describe, honestly, I think those all describe his personality, you know. I don't think that really reveals anything for the future, unless eventually he was going to become a clothes designer. And then Alvin, noble friend and old friend, which I honestly think most of this stuff kind of describes Dex's personality. It doesn't really reveal anything for his character in the future, and then you'll see a pattern for this. You'll see, I feel like the characters that their names match more their personality, they're just kind of gonna be, I mean, they might be big in it, but they're characters where you kind of can already predict what's going to happen with them, depending on whatever situation they're in with the other characters. But I feel like some of the characters that have names that have like a meaning, a deeper meaning, are are going to have a lot more going on and a lot of things that we won't be able to predict like right away, things that are going to be hidden away. You know what I mean? So Disney means great, dependable, caring of what others think, or not caring of what others think. So that also describes him, like, you know, just he doesn't care what other people think. He, you know, he wants to love who he loves, just like his parents. He doesn't want to do the match. He doesn't, basically, he's a rebel, you know. So, you know, he wants to change things. He doesn't want things to always stay the same forever. And when things aren't working, they need to be fixed. All right, Keith Sensen, our boy. Okay, so Keith, honestly, what his name means warms my heart and my soul. Keith, noble, gentle, handsome, loving, and loved. I can't with that. It's so true. It fits so well. And then Keith's middle name was redacted, so we don't know it. And I didn't put Sensen down here because I ended up doing one for Lady Gisela before I did Keith's. But I believe Sensen was actually a last name that Shannon created herself. It doesn't have an original meaning, but I did end up finding something about Sensen, but I don't know if it's actually true or if someone totally made it up because I couldn't find any results on the internet. But for my theories for Keith, I feel like he's going to live with the humans and learn more about Sophie's point of view. So I think the whole reason Shannon sent him to the human cities is because obviously I think Keith was becoming a bit too important, and I don't think she didn't want him to overshadow Sophie, even though everyone loves Keith Sensen. I mean, most people love Keith Sensen. But I also believe that she sent him to the human cities because I feel like Shannon is trying to make Sophie and Keith mirror each other. Like, I guess you could say that she's trying to make them perfect for each other, but I won't say that. I won't say it because it's biased because I am a Keith Foster shipper. But I think that she's trying to kind of, like, they both understand each other the most, you know, like they keep hinting, like when they were in the in Candleshade in the tower after they had found Alvar, and Alvar told Keith what he knew. I remember Rogue said, like, you know, now you and our little blondie here are like basically not the same person, but like have the most in common out of everyone. And I was like, okay, that's like, that makes so much sense. I definitely feel like I said, Shannon is trying to make them mirror each other. What is it called? Because yeah, I mean, she has them both be kind of like experiments, and then you know, now he's gonna be going to human cities, and Sophie was raised in the Forbidden Cities, so it's just kind of like, you know what I mean, you know? So, okay. And then I have a feeling I definitely know Keith's coming back. Like, he's such an important character, there's no way he could just not come back. So I have a feeling that when Keith does come back, it's not going to be Sophie or anyone, Ro, no one's gonna go get him. I feel like Keith has to come back by himself. He's going through some things, and it's like his own journey of self-discovery that he's gonna have to go through. You know, now this is done to him, he needs to discover what these abilities do and how to control them and how to get back a sense of control and a sense of peace again. And I feel like that's not something you can teach someone or help someone do. I mean, to a certain degree, but right now when it's so raw, I feel like Keith has got to figure this out on his own, and then when he's ready, he'll come back. Or when he gets close to being ready, that's when Grady is going to be using that imparter from 8.5 because it's imparter is definitely going to be coming into play because I know there's a writing method called like if you write a gun on the wall, it has to go off at some point. It's a way of foreshadowing things, when with the fact that Grady had the imparter and gave it to Keith and said Sophie's going to need you, it means Sophie's going to need Keith at some point, and I have a feeling that Grady is going to use it when there is going to be a really big emergency and Sophie really needs Keith, because Sophie is an amazing character on her own, and I am really excited to see how she grows in herself without Keith around. But like they were saying, is even the Moonlark can't do everything herself. So I'm like really excited, and I would really love to see a Keith and Sophie team up with his new powers. You know, and once he figures them out, I'm really curious to know how his powers can be used, you know, in the fighting, in a fighting sense, or in a, like, you know, fighting the never seen sense. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I believe that is it. Yeah, so that's it for Keith. On to the next character. Alrighty, so I ended up, I skipped a couple characters that I really didn't have any theories for, and their names didn't really have any, like, meanings that hinted at anything. So I've skipped to Marella. So Marella, her name means Star of the Sea, which is really kind of cool because, like, she's a pyrokinetic, and I know she was doing something with Lynn. They were practicing something, trying to, like, figure out a new way to work the elements. So the fact that it says sea, which references the ocean, I don't know. I'm curious to know where they're going to be going with that. And then her middle name means tender. And I believe I didn't write down what her last name means here because I was doing it for her father, which is going to be coming up in a little bit once I get to her father, and I'll tell you what I have as theories for her father. Okay. And then for her theory, I said Morella's mother is involved in this. I think she was the one there at dinner with Orelai and Orelai's fuzzy memory. Okay. I don't think that she fell off the balcony on accident. So obviously I don't think her mom fell off the balcony because she drank too much fizzleberry wine. I think it was definitely something planned. At first, when I wrote this theory, I had a feeling that she was the one in Orelai's fuzzy memory. But then after doing some more research, I wanted just to read my quote off how I wrote it first. But after doing some more research, I have a feeling that the one in her fuzzy memory might have even been her Morella's father. I don't know what his name is. It's in here. But I think it's her father. And I have another theory for him. But I feel like because I remember Finton said in Nightfall that when he saw that Marella was involved, he said that her mother tried everything to make sure that Marella wouldn't get involved in all of this. So I have a feeling that the whole her mom fell off the balcony is, I wonder if she was trying to protect Marella, or she was trying to do something to stop stop the never seen, or stop something from happening, and they threw her off to either kill her, or they threw her off to make her lose her memory. You know, I'd probably kill her, because I mean, what's the chance of you hitting your head and losing your memory? Some people do, sometimes that happens and that works out. Most of the time it doesn't. So yeah, so that's my theory for Marella. All right, my next character is Grady Ruin, and his name, Grady, means noble and renowned, which, you know, I definitely think that's more for his character. And then his middle name means prominent, so I think it's just trying to show his status as an elf and all that stuff. And then theory-wise, I don't really, I mean, besides the theories that I said at the beginning, like Sophie with the imparter, and that I think that Graves is going to be the next one taken by the Never Seen, I I have more of a want. Honestly, I wanted to say is that I want to, like, I feel like Grady and Adeline, like especially in the next book, need to be fleshed out a little bit more. Like, you know how you kind of got backstories on each of the characters, like you kind of gotten to know them at a deeper level. Right now we've kind of just know Grady and Adeline as Sophie's adoptive parents, and we know that they had Jolie as their daughter that died, and then they used to have parties, which is all cool and great, and it does flesh out their characters, especially since, you know, there was a death in the family. That's huge. And there was a whole thing with Brand, which is huge. But I want to see like Grady and Adeline's parents. I really wonder if Grady's or Adeline's parents shattered or anything when Jolie died, because that was her granddaughter. So, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if that shattered them, even though it didn't shatter Grady and Adeline. Or maybe they don't want anything to do with Grady or Adeline anymore because it just brings back too much pain about Jolie. Or if they're in like total denial. It would kind of be cool to see them and see how other elves react to death. That, and also I would like to know if Ruin came from Grady's side or Adeline's side, because remember, with elves, it comes from whatever family is more prominent. I'm assuming it came from Grady, only because he's got a really high up power, but that could just be genetics, and he just got lucky to have a really a new ability. So who knows where the name Ruin came from? We don't know, because Adeline's sister, Julene, took her husband's name, Disney, so we don't know whose original last name is. And I would like to know too is if Grady or Adeline's families used to also tame animals for the sanctuary, and they took on that job for them. I'm just really curious about like their actual backstories, like to that point, like even Grady and Adeline in like the elite levels, and if anything happened that far back, you know, with the Never Seen. Because I mean, things happened at Jolie's time, but was there ever things like going hard around the time when Grady and Adeline, were there like any secrets that could have been revealed from Grady and Adeline's time at Foxfire or in the elite levels? All right, so my next character is Lady Gisela. Lady Gisela, okay, her name Gisela means pledge. So I'm assuming she's pledging to her organization. And then her middle name actually means drop of sea, rebellion, force to be reckoned with. So that one is kind of interesting. I don't know about the drop of sea thing. I mean, because obviously she's not hydrokinetic. But obviously the force to be reckoned with thing, I mean, she kind of is. So that kind of works for her character. And then Sensen, because like I didn't say it with Keith, it means caring master of their own destiny. So that's kind of cool because we've got Cassius, Keith, and Gisela that all have the Sensen last name, so they're all their own master of their own destiny. So I have a feeling just the whole family is going to be on their own own track. You know, none of them are going to be on each other's sides. You know, obviously, Keith's not on either of them. And then I have a feeling Cassius is not going to be on Gisela's side ever. I feel like he's going to be on his own side. And honestly, that's just my theory for the ending of the first 3 chapters of STELLARLUNE, where Sophie went into Cassius's mind and she saw something. I don't know. It's really either gotta be he found something out that's really important. Like maybe he remembered Gisela's plan for Keith, and that's what Sophie's gonna find in his mind, or I have a feeling that Cassius might trap Sophie's consciousness in his mind. I don't know if he's doing it for Gisela or if he's doing it for something totally different. I don't know, but those are my 2 theories for what went on at the end of the first 3 chapters of STELLARLUNE. And if you didn't know about that, yes, they released the first 3 chapters of STELLARLUNE. If you go to my Instagram account, what is it called? Mythological Empath. I actually put the link to the first 3 chapters on my page if you are curious and want to read them, or you could just wait until the book comes out. I think it's less than 6 weeks at this point where it's going to be coming out, so excited. All right, so for my theories for Gisela, I had a theory that Gisela was Counselor Lena. Okay, so that was a theory I had a while ago. I've kind of discounted it by now because, you know, Gisela was locked up in Ravagog when we still had Alina. I believe Alina was already a counselor at that point, but someone could have also, like Geffen or someone could have been pretending to be Alina while Gisela was locked away. But I had a feeling, because I remember them mentioning too before, Sophie mentioned that, you know, anyone around them could be part of the enemy. And I mean, obviously the Black Swan uses disguises, and so like, why wouldn't the Neverseen? I have a feeling that the Neverseen might even have alternate identities as well. And originally I was thinking maybe Gisela could have been Counselor Alina, since they're both very, very vain. And I was thinking that maybe if Gisela did have another ability, like they were saying in Legacy, oh no, they weren't saying in Legacy, they were saying in 8.5, they were thinking maybe Gisela might have had a second ability, because polyglots are supposed to, most of them manifest a second ability. It's just like normal, but for some reason Gisela didn't. And that comes on my next theory, is I have a feeling that either Gisela did manifest another ability and she is hiding it, like beguiling, like if she was Counselor Alina, or she never did, and that was a big motivation for or the original motivation for her giving Keith the abilities she did, because if he has the ability to unlock other abilities, even abilities that cannot be triggered, he might be able to unlock whatever other ability she has, and she might even know what other ability she has dormant and wants to unlock it, so she made sure that Keith could unlock it for her. And it almost makes you wonder if, you know, obviously if she's not Counselor, which I'm pretty sure she's not anymore at this point, what ability would Gisela have? Because obviously if she did have another ability and it got unlocked by Keith, it'd be something that would probably be game changing, and Sophie and Keith would probably have to go up against it. So it's very interesting, and I'm very nervous but excited to find out if that's the case. All right, for Alvar, I did not write down what his name means for some reason. I don't know why. I totally must have forgotten about Alvar. But the only thing I wrote down for Alvar is I have I wonder if what's his name, Fitz, does have a redemption arc with Alvar, if Alvar will also have a redemption arc, and if they can just kind of, if they could find out a way to fix themselves as a family and come back together and fight together again. But I mean he was dying, so he could just be dead, or if he is alive, you know, maybe their family wouldn't be fixed. I mean, maybe they would just like agree to disagree, and then Alvar would just have to be locked up for the rest of his life, or maybe just have to be monitored 24/7 if he does live, which I have a feeling that maybe Shannon would just let him die, because I mean Brant just died, so maybe Alvar will just die. I don't know. I know a lot of people like Alvar, so I guess we'll just see. I guess it depends on if it works with the plot or not. All right, the next character is Geffen. So Geffen's name means dusky or dark, and then his middle name means one warrior battle leader. So okay, and then wait, I didn't do his, oh, I couldn't find his last name. So his last name is a last name that Shannon made up herself. But here comes my theory about Geffen. I have a feeling that Geffen is going to be the main villain by the end of the series. It just would make sense because, like, think about Gisela. Gisela's going to be taken down by Keith at some point, and since Keith's not the main character, that just doesn't seem right. Like, I feel like if Sophie took down Gisela, it just, I mean, maybe it would work out nice, but I have a feeling that Keith's going to be the one to take down Gisela because I feel like it's his trauma, and it's his trauma that he needs to face with Gisela, and Gisela just doesn't seem like an endgame villain, and neither does Vespera. Vespera just seems like she's super manipulative and creepy, but she doesn't seem endgame. I feel like it's going to be Geffen, because Geffen was the first villain Sophie saw, first of all, and second, just think about how smart he was. When Luminaria fell, he did all of that. Like, he thought up that whole plan. So this whole time, he is going back and forth between Fenton and Gisela and has no complaints. Just doesn't seem like someone that smart wouldn't just let people just lead him around by a leash. I have a feeling that he's just manipulating everyone, even Vespera. He goes along with everyone. I have a feeling that he's using everyone and that he is going to be the endgame villain. Especially with it said, with what his middle name means, with it said being a battle leader. I have a feeling, and just like reading through the series and listening to things Geffen says, like, he's the one that antagonizes the most. He's the first one to really openly threaten a counselor with Orlai. And it just, I don't know. I feel like he's endgame. He's psychotic enough to be, like, psychotic and super, super smart when it comes to battle tactics. I feel like he's going to be the endgame. Alright, my next character is TIERGAN. TIERGAN, his name means strong-willed. His middle name means ruler of the home. And his last name means single father. So all of that could be referencing the fact that he adopted Wiley, and he's obviously a single father of Wiley, but I think it could also be a hint to, if I'm right, that TIERGAN is Sophie's biological father, and I feel like it would just make so much sense. But I'm not gonna go into details. I was like almost thinking about saying things, but I'm like, nope. I gotta keep that for the Keeper, or the Forbidden, the Forbidden Cities podcast. Gotta let them keep their glory with that theory. And then my next one is, I believe you pronounce it Ferdinand Babelos. That is Jency's older brother. He's totally blur. I mean, he's a phaser. He got stuck halfway through the floor when they were on the ship heading to Ravagog with Lady Cadence, and the water splashed him. They were saying he was a little bit shorter than they thought, and that basically the way they described him was the same way they described Jency, which obviously, since they're genetically related, his brother would probably look similar to him, except for Jency hasn't manifested yet, but his older brother has, and his brother was a phaser, so I mean, he's totally blur. I mean, I could totally be wrong. Shannon could totally surprise us last minute, but I have a feeling that he's totally blur. Alright, and then Marella's father, Duran Reddick. I have a feeling that he's part of the Never Seen, because it's mentioned that and Marella says that her father was a guster when she was trying to manifest an ability, and she said, I'm probably going to be a guster like my dad. So I have a feeling that the guster that helped the Never Seen steal Wiley from the what is it called? The Elite Towers is going to be Marella's father. And I believe Keith mentioned the Guster before too. He said that I believe the Guster's name was Trix, which would be which would kind of make sense because it's kind of a trick. You think that Marella's family is just kind of broken and stuff like that. But I almost wonder if like if her father is evil, when Marella manifested as a as a not hydrokinetic what is it called? What is it? Not hydrokinetic. It's a as someone that wields fire. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, she was saying that her parents were super cool about it. I wonder if her father was like, oh yes, my daughter is a fire wielder. And then she was getting lessons with Finton. I don't know what Finton's plan is. I don't know if he's just trying to be nice because he is trying to help another fire wielder, or if it's also just a big plan to get Marella to join the Neverseen. But yeah, like, I don't know, it would be, well, can you imagine if Marella was the one that switched over to the Neverseen? Because I have, like I said, I have a feeling at least one of Sophie's Fence is gonna switch over to the Neverseen. And if it was Marella, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like a replacement Finton, but like, yeah, so that's my theory for that. And then, okay, so then my next theory is for Quinlan. I wrote down his name, but his name doesn't really, the only thing that I can get out of it is that his name reads like perfection, and that they said his name, his first name and his middle name, what is it called, can mean many different things, and that his last name means achiever. I have a feeling that Quinlan is evil. And I have thought about this theory before, but someone has already posted their theory on their podcast, and it is, I forgot what their podcast name is. Well, I'll link all the podcasts down below, but someone else came up with this theory, so I don't want to say it and steal their thunder. But yeah, I have a feeling that Quinlan is evil. Reread things about his character. He's so suspicious. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then for my last theory, it involves two people. Okay, so Counselor TARIK and Counselor Velia. I feel like one of the two are on the Neverseen. TARIK because he's just super, super sus. And I'm not going to say too much about it because also Forbidden Today's podcast already covered this, so I don't want to take their thunder, but I believe, so Tarik's name means evening calling, morning star, ruler of the people, and then like pretty much a god, which, you know, could be hinting at the fact that he's a counselor, and he, like, you know, if as a counselor he's ruling over the people, but, you know, yeah. So keep an eye on Counselor TARIK. He's super sus, you know. And then Counselor Velia, the reason I was kind of suspicious of her is because she's a Guster, so she could also have been the Guster named Trix. And Counsel Orlai said at one point that she what is it called, she's not one to ask questions, and I'm assuming she's not one to ask questions because she doesn't want questions asked about her, and she has never openly sided with Sophie. And the reason I believe that there is one villain in the council is because it's been brought up many times, especially at Everblaze, where they believe there was a leak in the council. Someone was leaking information to the Neverseen. And I know they were saying that, I believe it was in Nightfall, they said that they believe it was the dwarfs that gave Prentice supporting. So that's the reason why TARIK or Lena didn't do it. But what is it called? There's still a lot of information being leaked, and the fact I don't know, just like there's just so much information, especially in Everblaze and other, if you listen throughout the series about things that the Lena Everseen ends up knowing ahead of time. I feel like there's still got to be some leak in the council. One of the counselors is evil, whether it be Lena. I don't feel like it's Lena, unless she is what's her name, Gisela, in disguise. Because I feel like she'd almost be too perfect as a villain because she's so mean. I feel like it's either TARIK because he's so sus, or Velia because she's so secretive. And I think that's all of my theories for the upcoming book. I am super excited about the upcoming book, and I'm like literally I've already pre-ordered it. I'm going to be doing the virtual tour with Shannon Messenger. If you haven't heard about that, look it up. I have it also on my Instagram. I have like pretty much all of her info, all of the info on this book on my Instagram account, because there's also going to be, they're doing an giveaway for those that did the pre-order of the book. But I got to ask one question for the virtual tour and hopefully gets answered. If it does get answered, I will let you know which one was mine. And I will also probably be doing a video after I do the virtual tour, the virtual tour, or not tour, tour. Because I'll probably be doing a review of Keeper of the Lost Cities book 9, and also all the questions that get answered. I want to cover all the things that Shannon actually answers on that tour. But yeah, so that's about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps support my channel. And also, if you have any theories of your own, would love to hear them down below, because honestly, I'm the only one I know, only one of my friends that really likes Keeper of the Lost Cities, so I don't really have anyone to talk about with this. So if you also love the series and you have your own theories, or if you have any comments about my theories, please let me know in the comments, because I would have so much fun reading them and commenting on them as well. But yeah, so yeah, that's all I have for today. Have an amazing rest of your day.